What's up YouTube, True Evil here, and today I'm going to be giving some tips in terms of saving resources on your account which will be invaluable in the upcoming weeks. Which, if you do these tips, you will have a stronger account overall in the future. These tips are tailored mostly to people who have not whaled on Star Savior, so if you have spent over $1,000 on this game, these tips are not going to help you out as much as someone who is free to play or a light spender like myself. So without further ado, let's get into it. First off, let's talk about equipment, which I think is incredibly important to talk about in terms of ways to optimize progression for in-game. Now, at first, I think you do need to run with the punches and plus 15 all your starting T2 gear from the selector boxes regardless of substats for 3 of your characters. Personally, I'm rotating a RGB DPS depending on the operation, so I'm not engraving that 4th set, but I am on those initial 3 sets for my main team. The thing you're going to learn quickly though from doing this is that it costs an astronomical amount to upgrade gear in Star Savior. As such, after those starter sets you need to boost to progress quickly, do not upgrade a piece unless it has perfect substats. There just isn't enough resources to level a decent piece. We need creme de la crepe pieces exclusively. After all the juice goes away from the first 14 days for new accounts, the accounts that are going to start not performing well will be the accounts that settled on equipment and didn't strive for ascension. As such, do not use your prism telescopes to refresh your stamina until you can sweep the hardest iteration of hunts, and do not use your stamina on resources besides hunts. I've been seeing people use it for just like the resonance materials, and yeah, that's not going to be helpful when you need gear. That fodder equipment is going to be the source of your upgrade materials most likely in the upcoming weeks, and it needs to be handled with the utmost care. I've seen people who've just been spamming the telescopes in the first week, and the amount of possible T2 gear that was missed on this is just a real sad sight to see, so please be smart and save until you are ready to use those. For the second tip, we need to talk about hard journeys because people have been absolutely trolling since there are a ton of journey tickets at our disposal currently, which of course gives people bad ideas. You're going to see people post guides for 9,500 plus hard journeys already, but one thing you need to check for when you see something like this is listen to this advice, and that is, well, did they spend like $1,000 on this game? The reason I'm mentioning that is, well, if you're a light spender like myself, you are not going to have Resonance 10 on all your saviors, and you are most likely not going to have multiple max duped Arcanas. You may have like one max duped Arcana like me, but this makes me low-key salty since I'm missing so many cards. Like, please, Star Savior, just give me the Petra card already. If you are not wailing on progression in this game, I highly recommend just completing one hard journey run for your progression team right now and just waiting until Resonance 10 to start working on parents. There are people who are just spamming all their journey cards trying to get parents right now, and they're running out of cards. Why are they burning cards so quickly? Well, because they're doing this with Resonance 8 saviors. Bro, if you want good parents, just wait until your units have ascended to Chad status. Resonant 8 parents aren't going to give you a 50 plus strength parent. Stop gesturing. All you need to do is just wait a week or two, bro. It isn't that serious. Don't let FOMO ruin your gacha gaming. Remember, be a Chad, not a jester. That's really good life advice, so be sure to write that one down. The third and final advice I'd like to give is with how to use your standard mileage in the Apocalypse shop. This is really important in my opinion because I've seen people do some troll things already. First off, we are at the end of the second week, so that means for us to progress in Star Savior based off of Starlink, we need to make sure we have 4 units max duped to go beyond plus ultra, if you will. This means if you you've listened to me and you rerolled for 2 dupes of Waltz Astra at the very beginning to save all those gems and be ready for that Rosaria banner, which is coming in a couple of days. That means we need 2 units to max dupe besides the Rosaria and Waltz Astra. Unfortunately, none of the Bunny Girls, Belle, or even Emily seem to be obtainable from this shop, so my advice is either 1. Prioritize the best units here, which will be saviors like the original Charlotte, or to see if you have like a max duped unit and use the mileage on a unit that just needs like 1 dupe for to reach max, so you don't have to use too much of your mileage points here to make sure you have those 4 max dupes characters. The reason for this is you do need the level break, and that's important, but we are trying to conserve our mileage points here for the good stuff, which is actually not the character dupes, but the Arcana dupes. These Arcana dupes are what is going to separate the Chads from the Jesters in the upcoming days, and luckily for us, pretty much all of the best Arcanas in the game have purchasable dupes here. So be sure to stock up on cards that you will be using frequently, like the Petra card, Lacey card, Charlotte card, etc, etc. The random savior boxes are just not worth it at all. Don't even think about clicking on them. If you are a whale though and want to focus on PvP, then after you get those max dupe Arcana cards already and you're like, what should I use my points on? Probably the most important unit that you can get dupes of in this shop is actually going to be Haiti. And that's going to be a smart move to max dupe if you are trying to push for that top 10 PvP. But if you are not a whale, then those Arcana dupes are just going to likely prove much more valuable and useful for you. So yeah, that's about it. Be sure to subscribe for more Star Savior videos. See you guys next time.